Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Macon-Bibb County Pre-Commission meeting. Acting as a committee of the whole, today is Tuesday, February the 7th, and the time is now 4:04. We have a quorum here today, and we're getting started here in just a moment. We have pre-commission at 4 o'clock today, and our regularly scheduled meeting will take place at 6 o'clock this evening. So we're going to begin our meeting today with the approval of the minutes. And that approval of the minutes is from January the 17th, 2023. I get a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Wynn, second by Commissioner Wilder. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Going to move on to item 2, which is appointments to authorities, boards, and committees. Item 2A is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission appointing Sandra Darby to serve as a member of the Fort Hawkins Board and for all the lawful purposes. Ms. Darby presently serves on the Fort Hawkins Foundation, and you've received all of her information. She is here tonight. Thank you for being here. If you don't mind standing up just a moment there. I know she's been a great participant out there, and she's already completed all of our paperwork. At this time, I entertain a motion for approval of Ms. Darby. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Clark, second by Commissioner Wynn. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving Ms. Darby, please say aye. Opposed, nay. And that would be Commissioner Lucas.
Yeah, I keep telling you, you got to slow down a little bit.
Well, the names are not on here tonight.
Too fast, too fast. I'm glad to see appointments to the Fort Hawkins Board, because years ago it was very, very active. And that's one of our tourist attractions and on the east side. So I'd just like to hear her just state what her involvement is and how she sees her involvement with the board building the fort.
Sure. If you don't mind going up to the microphone, Ms. Darby. She's met with me on a couple occasions, and they have a lot of plans. I know that board is trying to get reestablished and become more active, so I'll let her tell you a little bit about some things that she's got going on for there.
I currently serve as the events chair for the Fort Hawkins Foundation, and I have implemented a podcast with Ben Sandifer with GMS Productions, and he is in the production stage of producing at least 5 episodes of the history of Fort Hawkins. I also am planning and executing a cherry blossom event, which will be March the 25th from noon to 4. It was posted on the Cherry Blossom website today, so all the details are there. Tours. We are partnering with Rock Candy Tours for group tours. We currently give self-paced individual tours at no charge, but we are partnering with Rock Candy for group tours.
Thank you for that information. She also, I know, has been volunteering. They've been trying to open up on the weekends there.
Yes, we're open on weekends now, and every Saturday and Sunday from noon to 4. I just picked up T-shirts Friday, and we're going to start selling T-shirts, or not selling T-shirts, but when people become a friend of the fort with a $20 donation, they will get a free T-shirt.
Okay, well, thank you for that information, and thank you for being here tonight. Going to move on to item B, which is item B is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission appointing Waukesha Stafford to the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning Commission and for all of the lawful purposes. I know she is here with us tonight. If you don't mind standing up. I think most of you know her and her involvement with Stafford's construction, as well as her expertise in the business. I think she would be an excellent candidate to serve on the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning. She's agreed to do so, and you should have a copy of all her paperwork as well.
Mm-hmm. Who's she replacing?
She's going to be replacing Mr. Scott, who no longer resides in Macon, recently married, and I think he lives in Atlanta primarily.
Okay. Let me ask you, is Mr.
Bechtel?
Bechtel, is he?
He's still presently serving on there. But I will be making a recommendation at an upcoming meeting for his replacement.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no conflict there, but apparently, obviously he has a lot of work to do with Macon Water Authority. We're finishing up some things there that he participated in, so as soon as that completion, I'll be recommending someone in the near future for that position.
Right, and that will give someone else an opportunity to serve as well.
That's correct. Commissioner Wynn?
So as we did with the last candidate, would you just kind of get up and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on P&Z?
My name is Waukesha Stafford. I currently work with Stafford Builders, a local general contractor here in the area. We have been here for 22 years. I started as a admin assistant there. Found myself very, very indulged in the area of construction and decided to go back to school and pursue construction, and have had the opportunity to work on many projects locally here. Everything from Habitat for Humanity houses, work with Magic, which is a mentoring a girl in construction. Additionally, have had opportunities to partner with other local GCs on working with projects here in the Macon area. Looking forward to working on the P&Z board. It's an opportunity to kind of look and see what's coming our way and making sure that we are in compliance with those codes and things that are being placed before us. It's constantly changing. It's one of those things that I believe it will be necessary to help not only other patrons, but other GCs understand what's appropriate and what's not, so for our local community.
Spoken, we're going to need to get, no, you're going to need to get louder on P&Z, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
No, thank you very much.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you for being here tonight. And also, she served on our construction board as well for appeals and things that may come through for Safe Build. We thank you for that service. So this time we need a motion and a second. Can I get a motion for approval? Motion for Commissioner Lucas, second by Commissioner Wynn. Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries, will be sent to consent agenda tonight. Thank you very much for being here. Item C is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission reappointing Stephen Corkery to the Board of Directors, River Edge Behavioral Health Community Service Board. Everyone's familiar with Mr. Corkery. I did not ask for him to be here tonight, but he had other commitments as well. They have asked for him to be reappointed to that board. Long-standing member of our community and serving in the mental health and other areas, as well as the school system there. So that is my recommendation. Can we get a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Wilder, second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? Dr. Corkery? Okay, thank you very much. I know him as Stephen, but I will call him Dr. Corkery in his professional title tonight. So we do have a motion and second. If there's no further questions or concerns, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. We have several new alcohol beverage licenses. Some of these have some nuances with them. You've received a copy of all paperwork that's necessary to make an informed decision, but we're going to have our attorneys explain a couple of those to you tonight, beginning with one that came up before for Ovations Food Service LP DBA Macon City Auditorium at 415 First Street. Remember that came up sometime around Christmas. They're acting on a temporary license that expires tonight. So any other events, if this is not approved, they will not be able to serve any food or alcohol for their next venues. But I wanted to have our attorney step up to kind of give you an explanation, because we had some LLCs as part of that, and explain to you what's going on the legal wise. This is something we deal with on a day-to-day operation, but non-lawyers do not do that. So if we can have Attorney McNeil let us know a little bit about the Ovations and what we're doing here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the applicant for this alcohol license is Ovations Food Services LP. This is for a license for sales of alcohol at the concession stands at the Macon City Auditorium. The commission may recall that it approved the alcohol license for the Coliseum for the same vendor just a couple of months ago. Ovations is the concessions arm of Oakview Group, which is a company that purchased Spectra or merged with Spectra recently. And that was a large, major corporate merger. It went through review with the U.S. Department of Justice and was approved. And so now it's trickled down to us, and it's simply just effectively a name change, an ownership change, just like we see routinely with gas stations and things like that. It just happens to be for the concessions vendor for the Macon City Auditorium, and everything else is routine. They've complied with all the requirements, and the recommendation from legal is that the license be granted.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation. Commissioner Lucas?
I do appreciate getting that additional information. The one thing I wanted to ask you, what is the split on this as far as the concessions? How do,
Yeah, I think we have someone here tonight from the company, so I asked David to come up to the microphone.
okay.
First thing to do is just identify yourself and who you're with, so we all know, people at home know who you are and what you're talking about.
Yep.
And then we'll rephrase Commissioner Lucas's question if you need to.
Yeah, David Aiello, General Manager for the Macon Centerplex. So basically, our corporate office gets 5% of the gross food and beverage sales. Everything else comes back to the county. And one of the benefits to transitioning this from the auditorium to Ovations is buying power. Obviously, we can go out and utilize our customer service with U.S. Foods and all the beverage distributors, and then we pass those savings on to you guys as well. So that's one of the main reasons why we decided to do this.
Okay.
But it's just us doing it.
Okay. Parking and the food, how
I think the parking comes
does
on her.
that all go
Yep,
into
parking
your?
comes. Yep, parking goes completely back to our operating budget.
Okay, I know that different
Yep.
functions worked differently, and I was just interested in
Yep.
in that. I just want to say, Mr. Mayor and fellow commissioners, that I've talked to a lot of people, and they have been so pleased that so many different acts have been booked into these facilities. I mean, there's just every different kind of stuff. Whatever your taste is, it's you've got so much, such a variety, and I really like that. And people were so happy to be able to get out and to have some entertainment that they can just choose.
Exactly.
Yeah, what they want to go to. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, thank you for that information, and since they'll be handling the amphitheater, we expect more of that same variety to happen there in the upcoming year. So we, if there's no further questions, we do need a motion and second. We have a motion. A motion by Commissioner Howell. Got a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Wynn, you have a question?
Yeah, I had it. This is just alcohol sales, is that correct? Not food?
Food is the same. It falls under the same umbrella. Yes.
Okay, so you would handle both of those
Yep.
things? Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Just wanted clarification.
Thank you. We have a motion and second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Thank you for being here and the rest of your team. Item B is Haddock Properties LLC, DBA's 20 Pub, located at 3076 Riverside Drive. Also going to have Attorney McNeil give you some information regarding potential restrictions. As you recall, this came up before. That was tabled, and now we have some additional information, and the attorney's going to let you know any potential restrictions that could be placed and the reasons for those. Attorney McNeil?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is the application of Tim Obelgoner for 20's Pub as a new owner. Mr. Obelgoner is the current owner of Billy's Clubhouse on Forest Hill Road, also the current owner of the Hummingbird on Cherry Street, and the former owner of the Thirsty Turtle across the street from the Hummingbird on Cherry Street. The commission may recall that the Thirsty Turtle was the site of a couple of fatal shooting incidents and stabbing incidents that happened in 2020 and 2021. And so as a part of that, there was some concern expressed in prior meetings about the ability of Mr. Obelgoner to manage this as a new alcohol venture. And so under Section 436 of the Alcohol Code, this commission is entitled to consider the public interest with respect to the applicant's reputation, character, and mental and physical capacity to conduct business, as well as any manner in which the applicant conducted the alcoholic beverage business under any prior license. And so that would include things like his management of Thirsty Turtle when these shooting incidents happened, and other businesses, not just him coming in as a new owner for 20's. As part of that, the code allows the commission to consider and to impose conditions on alcohol licenses and give some examples of the types of conditions. And so I just want to give a brief overview of that. Some of those can include requirements to maintain certain levels of staffing, including a managerial presence, ownership presence, or security staff on the premises, terminating particular problem employees, requiring particular owners to separate from the business, limitations on dates, times, or days of operation, limitations on quantity of alcohol that can be sold at a time or to a certain person, age restrictions on the customer base, anything that essentially is rationally related and addresses the specific concerns that you have with the management and the operation of the premises. Any conditions that are imposed by the commission on an alcohol license are perpetual in nature unless the commission puts a timeline on it. So you can, for example, say we're going to have a condition that will expire after 12 months if that's something that you see as appropriate. But if you don't specify, it'll be in perpetuity, and they can come back after at least 1 year and ask the sheriff to review their operations, and the sheriff can report back to the commission, have there been any dangerous conditions, have the conditions helped or hurt, that kind of thing. So I understand on this license there's been some discussion, particularly with Commissioner Howell, and that some of the conditions that have been considered have been as follows. Requiring that if there are any gun violence incidents that originate at the business or within 100 feet, or if there are 2 or more non-gun violence incidents that originate at the business or within 100 feet within a calendar year, that's grounds to revoke the license. Requiring post-certified security to work Friday and Saturday nights from 9 p.m. till close, and moving their close time up from 3 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. where they can't operate past 1:30 a.m. every night. Those are some things that have been considered, but I don't want to put words in your mouth, Mr. Commissioner. You're welcome to discuss your own or to vary from that, and whatever the will of the body is, we're happy to prepare for you.
Thank you, Attorney McNeil, for at least giving those options tonight. Like I said before, this was previously tabled for more information, and we have more information, so it's placed on the agenda tonight. So this time I'll hear from Commissioner Howell on any recommendations that he may want to produce.
Yeah, I think everybody got a copy of it. After much consideration and back and forth I really appreciate Attorney Howard helping with some of this. Number 3 about the making them close at 12:30, I want to take that one off the table, just because of the confusion, and I think the other things are restrictive enough. I talked with the sheriff's office, and in particular Sheriff Davis, about recent history at that shopping center and 20s bar in particular. In the last 3 years, the sheriff's department has been called out to 20s bar 3 times in 3 years, so once a year. And those 3 incidents resulted in 7 cases being filed. So it's a pretty calm place considering it's a bar that's open regularly. So my thoughts on all this is to keep this particular establishment as it is, kind of a neighborhood bar. And the guy that's applying for the license has already been running it under a temporary license for 6 months, and there hasn't been any new incidents there. So I would like to recommend that we put these restrictions on it for an indefinite amount of time, not a particular, we can go back and drop them if we want to, but I don't want it to come up and we forget about it. But restrictions 1, 2, and 4 would be my recommendation.
I think we've got, in front of you, you've got a detailed information from the council on there on what those 1, 2, and 4 are. So that's what we're talking about as a potential motion by Commissioner Howell with restrictions. If this were to pass with restrictions, it's treated as a denial for purposes of allowing them an opportunity to appeal. So we would not vote on it again tonight at commission, but we will vote on pre-commission, and then the attorneys will send out their letters and things will happen in its general course. Is this Commissioner Jones?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Jones.
Attorney McNeil, what's the closing time now? 2 a.m.?
Countywide, the standard is you have to stop serving by 2 a.m. and close by 3 a.m.
Okay. And I'm curious from Commissioner Howell, why did you want to remove the 12:30? Just because would that be a violation if we had that in there?
Well, I can offer just a little bit about that. I spoke to Mr. Howell myself. I think that considering the lack of incidents that they've had there,
Right.
12:30 would be in a situation where we're not treating them similarly situated to other folks in the community, and therefore, until they're proven otherwise on that, despite the previous problems we had in other establishments. So I think that's somewhat of a compromise. Certainly, the commission can do what they
Opens
want
the
to.
door for somebody to sue us or make a complaint. So I hear you.
Yeah, I don't necessarily worry about suits. I just want to make sure we treat people fairly. We can always deal with
Oh, yeah.
suits, but
I
I
agree
do
with
think
that.
it's a good compromise.
Treat everybody the same.
To do these others. So, and do we need to read those to records, or we just need to have a copy of these?
So
Turn it
what I
over.
have is, for number one, if an incident that originates in the bar causes gun violence in the bar within 100 feet of the business premises, then the commission may revoke the alcohol license, which is already substantially true under our alcohol code anyway. Two, the business is required to hire post-certified security to work all Friday and Saturday nights, which the business is operating from 9 p.m. until closing. And then four is, if violent incidents arising inside the business premises or within 100 feet of the business premises result in injuries to patrons, bar employees, or other persons twice within a calendar year, then the commission may revoke the alcohol license. And there is a general provision about incidents, but this puts a specific quantity limit on it, as far as reaction goes.
And Commissioner Wynn?
Basically, they've been staying open to 2 o'clock right now anyway. Right.
I would imagine they're open until at least 2 or 3.
Well, 2 o'clock, they have
max
to stop serving, and 3,
Right.
so they've been operating under these rules, that particular rule already.
I assume so.
Okay, and there was no incidents that we know of. I don't,
Commissioner Walter? Or is that Howell? Commissioner Howell?
Oh.
Sorry, my names are not on here tonight.
Just addressed Commissioner Jones. I felt like that having the other restrictions in here, including having a police officer Friday and Saturday, I felt like that covered, it's pretty strict. If something goes on there twice in a year, that's the license, so.
Okay. So we do have a motion that's been confined to writing as well by Commissioner Howell. Do we have a second to that motion? Second by Commissioner Wilder. Any further discussion concerning the restrictions on this license? Seeing no discussion or hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion by Commissioner Howell and the seconded on the restrictions to the license for item B, Haddock Properties LLC, 20's Pub, located at 3076 Riverside Drive, say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. And we'll have the attorneys draft the appropriate letters to the applicant, and that'll be back before us at a later time. Going to move on to item C, which is a consideration of renewal for Midtown Daiquiri Bar located at 4376 Log Cabin Drive, Macon, Georgia. As you recall, several commissioners had some questions about that on a previous commission meeting. There has been some incidents at Midtown Daiquiri Bar located at 4376 Log Cabin Drive in the last couple of years. This particular one we'll have Attorney Howard give you an update on, but we did receive a letter from the sheriff that should be in your package where the sheriff had recommended not allowing this bar to continue to operate as a bar. So I'll have our attorney give us a little bit more information, and we'll take the appropriate action.
And good afternoon, Mayor and Commission. I'm Assistant County Attorney Frank Howard, and I do want to bring to your attention, as Mayor stated, Sheriff is recommending denial of this license based upon approximately 18 911 emergency calls that were made from that location. There were over 10 victims generated, according to the sheriff, and the crimes occur, or the calls and incidents occurred between the afternoon and late night hours, and the calls for service indicate cases of aggravated assault, battery, and criminal damage to property. So the sheriff reviewed all these incidents and is recommending denial. So he sent this letter pursuant to Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances, Section 4-402C6, because of the activity that occurred, criminal activity which occurred within 100 yards of that bar. And you all have the ability to deny this license, the legal right to deny this license, under Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinances, Section 4-36-8, which allows you to deny based upon, I say deny, but revoke based upon the occurrence of any event or events during the preceding year at or within 100 yards of the location, which result in criminal activity, regardless of whether the events were caused by the bar. And so that's the sheriff's recommendation, and you have legal grounds to revoke the license if you choose to do so.
Mayor Pro Tem Clark.
I'd like to make a motion to revoke.
Have a motion to revoke by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Lucas. Commissioner Howell, you have a question or concern?
Yeah, my question was, are we revoking or just denying renewal? But I guess if we're revoking, I'm good with that.
I think this is a revocation. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further questions? No further questions. All those in favor of the revocation, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Likewise, we'll follow the same procedure that's established, and that may come back before us after the appropriate appeal time runs out or future information from our attorneys. Thank you. Item D is 2022 LLC DBA Bloomfield Grocery located at 4175 Bloomfield Road, Macon, Georgia. You have a picture of it there. The recommended action tonight is been reviewed by legal, and they recommended denial. And we'll hear from Mr. Howard why the denial is recommended.
And if I may, the agent, Mr. Patel, called me after I made my recommendation and indicated that he is applying for EBT at this store and would have the Food Mart items available for sale in the near future, and asked for more time. So if the commission chooses, instead of denying, you may table this motion to give this agent time to comply with the Food Mart requirements.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Right now, we have a motion recommended for denial on there. Do we have a motion to follow the recommendation of denial? Commissioner Howell?
With all due respect to the applicant, I'm not inclined to postpone this because the rules are the rules. And to put one thing out there and then go, oh, I need to, sorry, to apply for something and then go, oh, I need to swap around and do something different. We have an issue with this in our town, and it's up to the people sitting on this horseshoe to see that we do some correcting of that. So I recommend denial.
Okay. Got a motion by Commissioner Howell. We have a second by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Question, Ms. Lucas.
Yeah, how long do we anticipate the delay would be in?
He requested until the next meeting of which would be the first Tuesday in March.
Yeah, I really kind of think that's fair, because we have, I recall some other instances where we have given time for, you remember that, a couple of months ago, we gave somebody time and we went back and re-inspected and everything, gave them a chance to get a banana here and an orange there and whatever else, we did that. So I just think a month would be fair, and then we can still come back. We can deny it if that. I just think we've done it for others, and so I respectfully ask that we table.
And if I may provide guidance on the past handling of these Food Mart issues, it is today was before y'all is a recommendation of denial, and if you choose to table this, then the consideration will be next month. If you choose to recommend denial, then there will be a statutory or an ordinance period of, I believe it's 14 days, and maybe a little less, for them to appeal your decision. And there will be time, traditionally you all, if they get the Food Mart items, you all change your recommendation and ultimately approve the license. What distinguishes this agent and what from past applicants is this is the first person who's called me after I have notified him, but after my denial recommendation was submitted, to inform me that he would provide these EBT items. So it's a slightly different scenario than you've seen in the past. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. But you have grounds to either table or recommend denial as you see fit.
I get a point of clarification that if it's denied tonight and he's comes back and gets EBT that he plans on getting anyway, we can reconsider it anyway in March, right? So it's no harm.
That is correct, Mayor. You can reconsider and recommend approval at that time.
Okay.
Or, excuse me, and approve at that time.
Okay. I hope that was clear to everybody. But we do have a motion to table by Commissioner Lucas. Is there a second to her motion? Okay. So you got a second? Okay. Got a motion table by Commissioner Lucas, a second by Commissioner Howell. We'll take a vote. All those in favor of tabling this, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. I'm gonna take a hand vote because I don't
Okay.
know. We
And
didn't have
next
5
month.
people. Commissioner Lucas, I'm sorry, Commissioner Wynn, how do you vote? No. Commissioner Lucas, how you vote?
I voted yes to table.
Yeah, I'm going. Commissioner Jones, how do you vote? Yes. Commissioner, Mayor Pro Tem Carter, how do you vote? Yes. Commissioner Wilder, how do you vote? Commissioner Howell, how do you vote? Yes. So that's a motion, okay. Motion table is granted. We'll do that, and we'll see if he gets his EBT information back to us and reconsider it in March. Is that fine, Mr. Howard?
That is, yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll make sure we move that from the consent agenda tonight. We're gonna move on to item E. We're getting all the each ones out of the way first. Lucky Food Mart located at 207 Main Street, Macon, Georgia, 31217. This has been reviewed by legal as stated on the affidavit provided by the applicant. And what is the recommendation for this?
Mayor, the recommendation is denial. This is a situation where the previous owner, RG Food Mart LLC, according to an affidavit included in this packet, the business was sold to Macon Main Street LLC in September of 2021. I reviewed the records from the tax commissioner's office, and the tax commissioner did not receive a new application shortly thereafter. They received a renewal from RG Food Mart LLC on or about November 10th, 2021. And here today we have a new application from Macon Main Street LLC. I recommend denial because in accordance with Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinance Section 4-56D, within 3 days of acquiring a business, the new owner must file for a new light alcohol license. He cannot use the previous owner's alcohol license. And also under Macon-Bibb County Code of Ordinance Section 4-37, if there are any material changes to your alcohol business as stated therein, those have to be reported within 10 days. The owners exceeded that deadline as opposed by law, and therefore legal recommends denial of their alcohol license.
Two additional things. I believe we've received some requests from Macon Housing Authority regarding this particular location here with complaints from the Housing Authority. But I think the other significance about it, this license is revoked or suspended because of its proximity to Macon Housing Authority. Cannot have an alcohol license there at that location again. Is that correct?
That will effectively be the result, assuming that the housing projects are still there after a year has passed from the denial of this license.
Okay. Just want to make sure everybody knew the ramifications. Commissioner Lucas?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was gonna vote for denial. Wasn't there somebody killed there last week or the week before?
I'm not aware of that.
I think there was, I know there was an incident there. And it is right there at the housing development, the neighborhood. And Roger Jackson's program is right around the corner. The Memorial is right there. There's a church. It might be outside of the distance requirement, but it's awfully close. And so, and then it's on that main road going through the, where so many people live, and not far from the Mill Hill development. For all of those reasons, I've been nervous for a long time about that particular establishment. There's a lot going on there.
Okay. So we have a recommendation by the attorneys for denial. Do we have a motion? Motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? I'm sorry.
Hey, sorry about that, Mr. Mayor. I just want to clarify, so I spoke with Mike Austin with the Macon Housing Authority about his concerns. He had proposed this as a possible site for a nuisance consideration of some of the litigation that I've been doing. And
Attorney McNeil, I hate to step on you. I don't know that we need to go into that right now, but I will say that it did not meet the nuisance legal qualification
Right.
for that. We're not here on a nuisance today, but I wouldn't want to go on record of saying anything else regarding that.
I understand. The only thing I wanted to mention was the grounds that Frank raised for, or Attorney Howard raised for denial, I think are solid grounds, but some of the other issues that you mentioned for distance, because it's been there, it's been kind of legacied in and things like that, I think that the grounds that Frank mentioned are stronger, and so I just want to, ask that the commission rest on those if it feels appropriate.
Duly noted. I think what Mr. McNeil is saying, that the grounds that the recommendation of denial on were solid grounds following the law. We may have some personal reasons that we want to see that the outcome, but those may not be legally specific reasons to mention. So any appeal letter we do would be based on the attorney's recommendations that we're following. So any other questions or concerns regarding this? We do have a motion and a second. Now it's time to vote. All those in favor of denial, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries, and we'll take the appropriate action to send to the applicant. Going to move on to item F. Item F is JNY Enterprise, LLC, 53 Food Mart, located at 3751 University Drive, Macon, Georgia. This has been reviewed by legal as well. This is one of certificate of standing.
I do. Let's see. I have less to say about the remaining ones on the list.
Okay.
Just that this one we've reviewed and they meet the legal the legal requirements. So I recommend approval of this alcohol license application.
And the other thing to note is that there's in our good standing that we passed a while back, there's a provision in there that allows the mayor to waive that. In this case here, I did sign a waiver on this because they met all the legal qualifications. The applicant has no taxes owed. The other parties involved had no taxes owed, but they were unable to get the owner to sign off on that, although we did do a complete check and find out there's nothing owed by the owner as well. So that is one thing that the owner of the property wasn't able to sign the good standing letter, but I signed the waiver because they met all the other reasons, and we did our own check to know that they don't have any taxes owed. Want to make sure out of full disclosure everyone knew that and what that is in case it comes up again. So you've heard the attorney. The recommendation on this one here is to approve this for all the reasons stated. And at this time, I'd entertain a motion for approval. Got a motion by Commissioner Lucas, second by Commissioner Jones. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda tonight. Item G is Hoops Bar, LLC, located at 477 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Macon, Georgia. You can see that on your screen. Recommendation here is approval. They've met all the legal and statutory and local rules there, and the recommendation is for approval. At this time, I'd entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Jones. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Wynn. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda tonight. Item H is Lucky JP LLC, doing business as Wingtopia, located at 5966 Zebulon Drive. That's Macon, Georgia. They meet all the legal and statutory grounds for approval. That's my motion. Can I get a second? Got a second by Commissioner Jones. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item I is OSHIP, I think that's how you say that, 1 LLC, Discount Grocery, located at 4116 Napier Avenue, Macon, Georgia. Reviewed by our legal and recommend approval. You've got a picture of that one as well. Any questions for Mr. Howard regarding this store? Hearing no questions, I'd recommend approval. I make a motion. Can we get a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any other questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item J is Macon Beverage Company, LLC, Beverage South, located at 7600 Industrial Highway, Macon, Georgia. You can see the picture there for this business. Is that right? Okay. That was like, that Brother Stewart's? I thought Macon-Bibb was the other place. Oh, he's a Bibb distributor. Okay. Yeah. That may not be the right picture, but, Macon-Bibb is over off of, I hate to say peach orchard, but that's where I refer to it as that. Can we check that real quick? I want to make sure. No, this is a Macon-Bibb company. Yeah, it looks like Bibb Distributing on that picture there. I want to make sure that we're doing with the right thing. Okay, 7600 Industrial Highway is the correct address, over by Allied Industrial Park, and what I used to refer to as the peach orchard, now maybe Linmore Estates. They met all the legal statutory requirements. It's reviewed by legal, and they recommend approval. So at this time, I entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Howell, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? Hear no discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. The motion passes and sent to consent agenda. Thank you, Mr. Howard, for all those items. Going to move on to contracts, agreements for implementation or renewal. Item 4A is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Deere and Company, also known as John Deere, through the dealer Greenville Turf and Tractor in the amount of $237,467.60 for the purchase of various golf course maintenance equipment to be used at Bowden Golf Course, to be paid from the Bowden Golf Course Fund, Bowden Golf Course machinery and equipment line item, and all other lawful purposes. Could I have a motion to approve? I know there had to be Commissioner Lucas over there. About to say, there was a delay there. Got a motion by Commissioner Lucas. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Howell. And Commissioner Jones, you have a question?
Mayor, just out of curiosity, how much money is in the Bowden Golf Course Fund?
I know it's got at least $237,467.
I was gonna say, I don't have the answer to that. This is actually because you approved everything in
Yeah.
CIP, and it's
It's
a
already
different
been
fund. So
approved.
this is the amount you approved on CIP that goes into the Bowden Fund to be
Right.
paid for this, but I can get that number to you. I just don't have their
Yeah,
total amount.
this is something that we approved in the CIP about a month
We
ago.
already approved at least
Yeah.
that much.
That's right.
Okay.
And it's just now going out for bid, and this is the result. So, good question. We do have a motion and second. There's no further questions. We'll take a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to the consent agenda. Item B is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute a change order to the purchase order for Signature Cabling Services for the purchase of additional cabling equipment at 688 Walnut Street, building in the amount of $27,050.89 to be paid from the informational technology budget. This is what we refer to as old IBM building, the building we purchased behind the courthouse. And this cabling is going to be used for moving several departments that we have in there, including the Macon-Bibb County Tax Assessor's Office, ECD, Home First, and the Land Bank Authority. Having said all that, does someone entertain a motion for approval? Got a motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Lucas. Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item C is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute a reimbursable agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration in an amount of $236,753.62 for the FAA to provide support for the removal and reconstruction of the runway 5 MALSR at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport to be paid from the airport grants budget. Any discussion or questions regarding that before we take a motion in a second? Okay. We entertain a motion at this time. A motion by Commissioner Howell, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Commissioner Luke, I was waiting on you to say that's your district. They beat you to it? I hesitated. All right, approval of grants. A resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of Homeland Security subgrants from the Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency, GEMA, in the amount of $3,000 with no local match to be used by Bibb County Sheriff's Office for the K-9 veterinarian services and K-9 equipment and for all of the lawful purposes. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. We have a couple of items on ESG, I believe. That's right. ESG grants, and just want to remind folks, Ms. Jackson, I didn't call you up there yet, but you can be there. You're going to be talking now that you ain't got up. I tried to hide you. For numerous years, we went through the same process and procedure, and I just want to remind commissioners that these ESG funds, which is Emergency Solutions Grant, is a program that is administered by the Economic and Community Development Department of the Macon-Bibb County Government, and funded by the Emergency Solutions Grant applied for by Macon-Bibb County and awarded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So we have administered funds from the Economic and Community Development, and they're awarded by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. We've been through their processes hundreds of times, and we'll go through them again if we need to, on how this money and how people are selected and how it is awarded. So tonight, you're going to bring back several awards to you for specific purposes. The first purpose is item B, a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Macon-Bibb County EOC Council granting an emergency solutions grant in the amount of $107,995.22 for the provision of homeless prevention services and other lawful purposes. That is my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Wilder. Any discussion or questions regarding this item? Going once, going twice. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item C is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Family Advancement Ministries, granting an Emergency Solutions Grant, ESG, in the amount of $42,000 to Family Advancement Ministries for the provision of homelessness prevention services and all other lawful purposes. That is also my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Any discussion regarding this items or this company? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. I'm used to hearing Elaine in my ear all the time, so when I hear Mayor Pro Tem, I gladly do it. Item D is a resolution of the Mayor-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Family Advancement Ministries, granting an emergency solutions grant, coronavirus, in the amount of $40,000 for the provision of homelessness prevention services and other lawful purposes. This is a separate grant for a different amount that was applied for. That's my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Howell. You're losing over there. I got a motion by Commissioner, second by Commissioner Howell. Any further questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. All right. Item E is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of scrap tire abatement reimbursement grant in the amount of up to $50,000 from the Environmental Protection Division of Georgia Department of Natural Resources with no local match. As many of you are, we are always tired of seeing tires everywhere, and we applied for this grant and have received a grant for $50,000 for our disposal, and we're going to actively be collecting those and making sure they get to the proper place. Commissioner Howell, you have a question?
Just a comment.
Okay.
Scrap tires are certainly a problem in South Bibb County, and we've done a great job cleaning them up, but I've noticed that some of the suspect spots are there again, so I love the fact that we're staying on this grant money and helping rid the community of it. Sooner or later, I hope we catch the people that are doing it, but meanwhile, it really cleans up the community when we have these grants.
I appreciate that, and I think maybe at next commission meeting on the 14th, we'll bring y'all some solutions with some cameras that may actually catch the perpetrators in a lot of these situations here, including some stuff that the sheriff's looking at. But like you, I have seen, I went to a few familiar spots today and drove those areas like I typically do at least once or twice a week, and I took pictures of a couple of illegal dumps, so we still have some work to do, but at least in this situation here, we're able to get some funds to make sure they go to the proper places. So this time I entertain a motion to approve. A motion by Commissioner Howell, I'm sorry, Commissioner Wilder, we have a second. Second by Commissioner Wynn. You missed out on that one. We have a motion and a second. Any further questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item F is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of summer 2023 Georgia County Internship Program. The grant from the ACCG Civil Affairs Foundation in the amount of $5,215.20 with a local match of $2,400 to be paid from the county attorney's office budget for the Macon-Bibb County Attorney's Office intern program. I do know that we got a couple more of these that's been awarded coming down the pipe, and we'll be bringing those to you in the next couple of meetings. On this particular item, I'd entertain a motion for approval of the internship. Got a motion by Commissioner Wynn. We have a second. Second by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Anyone need any other information about these internships? I know our county attorney's here and he's looking forward to bringing them in. Mr. McNeil, if you may approach to give us some more information. We always want to get people plugged into the government, and we have a couple more areas that we'll be getting internships to, and some of those we don't have to do any match. This one here is like a 50% match, so just let us know a little bit more about this one.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we're very excited about this grant. This is something that ACCG funds for students to be interns in the government, particularly lawyers, law students to be interns in the government. We won funding for 2 interns, and next week you guys will see a resolution to accept funding for 1 intern for the Public Defender's Office as well. That just got to us too late to get on this agenda, but the match is starting in the FY23 budget, the current year budget. We put in some money to pay summer interns that come to us. Usually we get rising 3Ls out of Mercer Law School, but because this is a ACCG grant funded, we're going to open it up to other law schools this year and see who we can get that might want to be interested in Macon government. And the ACCG grant will pay the first $12 an hour of their salary, and then we're going to use our share of the local match to raise them up to $20 an hour. And so that's how we spend the funds. We don't actually pay them anything. We just use it to increase their salary.
Thank you for the information. We do have a motion and second. If there's no further questions, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and we set the consent agenda. Yes, Mr. Wynn.
Have an intern working with us in Janice's office? Is that
We got several interns. I see one of them here today. You
Yeah,
wanna put her on the
Allison.
spot? Yeah. I think she's one of our fellow Mercer students, and she's doing a good job over there. But we have several. As a matter of fact, Dr. Ficklin's not here at the moment, but he's been a very good advocate of having through GCAPS and others to get internships from numerous offices. So we're very excited about getting young folks involved in government and learn some things about how it really works and getting them involved. So, and we've had one working with our comms team recently, and he's done some great things, and I think gotten a good experience as well. So overall, the program's been very well. So thank you. We have a motion and a second. We take a vote yet? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries, and we'll vote again. Transfer of property. This is item A6A. Resolution of Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the mayor to convey 19/100ths of an acre of real property located at 1949 Dannenberg Avenue to Macon-Bibb County Land Bank Authority for $5,000 less cost to the land bank. What we're trying to do here is to make sure it goes to the proper party. I believe Habitat may be the end user of this for building a home.
Yes,
And it's just a small percentage that we're going to be transferring over. So this time, unless there's any other questions, I'd entertain a motion for approval. Got a motion by Commissioner Lucas, second by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Any further questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item 7 is acceptance of roads. While we're on the topic, I'll let you know that next meeting on the 14th, we're going to be prepared to present to you our 2022, 23, 24 roads. That right? LMIG and the additional money that we agreed to spend on those. So we have all that information for you. We'll have it at our committee meeting next week. So you'll see the projects that we have out for bid, projects that we're putting out to bid, and then potential projects for the upcoming year that you have asked us to include. And we did that work session a while back. So that amount would be 5 times the amount that we usually put forth for roads to be paved. So we're going to go over that, and we'll have that discussion next week. Just kind of let you know that that's going on while we're on the roads topic. This is a resolution of Macon-Bibb County to authorize the acceptance, registration of Winterberry Circle for public use and as part of the county road system and all other lawful purposes. This is a normal process we always have when the roads get finished like this. They have to transfer that over to us, and we have to accept that road as one of our roads, and that's what this is on this particular subdivision. Anyone have any questions for our attorney, Commissioner Howell?
I just got a statement. South Bibb County appreciates the new road, and I make a recommendation we
Okay.
accept it.
Got a motion by Commissioner Howell. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Wilder. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item 8 is lease renewals. This is a resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement, lease renewal with the State Properties Commission for the lease of office space at the Thomas Jackson Juvenile Justice Center for use by the Georgia Department of Juvenile Justice for a rental amount of $800 per month and all other lawful purposes. We have been in constant contact with the judge there. She certainly agrees to this as well, and our attorneys participated in drawing up this document. So for those reasons, we'd recommend approval of this, and can we get a motion to approve? Got a motion by Commissioner Lucas, a second by Commissioner Jones. Any additional information from you, Attorney McNeil?
I just wanted to take a moment and brag that we talked them up from $1 a year to $800 a month on the rent.
I didn't want to say all that. No. We did have some good negotiations, and we certainly
Yes, sir.
appreciate them being there, and we appreciate that extra $799 we get each month. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item 9A is an ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize a budget transfer within the Tax Commissioner's office budget in the amount of $75,000 from salaries and wages, full-time line item to contract labor. So this is an adjustment we've done before for Tax Commissioner Wade McCord, where he's moving money from his budget to contract services within his budget. So he'll be hiring staff contract labor from his budget. So this time I entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Wilder. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item B is an ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize a supplemental appropriation in amount of $350,000 from general fund balance to the county attorney's office budget, judgment and losses line item for the purpose of paying for settlement legal claims made by Tarsha Smith against Macon-Bibb County arising out of a 2018 vehicle accident as specified herein, to authorize the mayor to execute the necessary settlement agreements as needed. Commissioners, you'll remember that we discussed this previously and gave a consensus regarding the settlement of this claim. Our attorneys have negotiated, we believe, in favor of both parties, and there are also some requirements they reimburse us for attorney's fees in that decision. So if anyone had any questions about that or needs any other reminders of that, we'll be happy to address those. But otherwise, we appreciate your support. Everything's been done, and now it's time to actually vote on the settlement. So this time I'd entertain, Commissioner Jones?
Yes, Mayor, was this the amount we approved?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
There's an amount that they suggested at the settlement conference, and we're now going to formalize. We do have a motion and second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item 10, Black History Month. This is a resolution recognizing the month of February 2023 as Black History Month, sponsored by Commissioner Lane Lucas. We're going to have that tonight at 6 o'clock. Is that correct, Ms. Lucas? But we want to take a formal vote, and I'm sure everyone will agree to do that. So this time we entertain a motion for approval of the resolution. Got a motion by Commissioner Lucas. Can we get a second? Second by Commissioner Wynn. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. We do have like 3 presentations tonight at 6 o'clock, and we'll have some time in between. Is there a need to go into executive session from the account? All right. There's no need to go into executive session, so at this time we're going to adjourn our committee meeting. I will say, tell commissioners, we do have some refreshments in the back since we got through a little early, and we'll convene again at 6 o'clock for our regular meeting. Commissioner Lucas.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention I received some calls just recently. The Macon Transit Authority announced an increase in the fees for those using
Yes,
transit, and there are some people who have some concerns about it, because even though the fees are small to us who have a car and we get around, independently, there are a large number of people who depend on public transportation. These people were not negative toward the transit authority, and they were grateful for the services that are provided, but they do know that their taxpayer money goes to fund Macon Transit, not only through our budget, but also some federal monies. And so they were just concerned about the increase, and they wanted us to kind of take a look at it and see if there's any way that there could be less of an increase or no increase. So I'm just bringing that up because I promised I would.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for doing that. I do understand that. I've saw it on the news myself, and we know that there has not been an increase since 2008, and we know gas prices are almost double. But
Right.
certainly I will look at that. If there's anything we can do, we do partially fund Macon Transit Authority, and we fully funded them the last couple of years that I know that we've been here. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, and appreciate you advocating on their behalf. So at this time, we have no other business. We will return here at 6 o'clock for our regularly scheduled meeting.